Hello there, welcome back to the channel. I am Grand Moff Tony, and today we are continuing with my Wishlist series, closing out the prequel trilogy with Revenge of the Sith. Now this is a lot of people's favourite prequel movie. It's my favourite prequel movie as well, and it is criminally underrated in the Black Series, or at least it is in the Galaxy line. There were a few figures that came before in the old blue and orange and red lines, but in the actual Galaxy packaging, I'm pretty sure at this point we just have Ki-Adi-Mundi, and he hasn't even been released yet. So that gives a lot of good options for characters that we can put on the list. As with the previous two videos, I'm using the same guidelines for this one. We're just looking at standard release figures and deluxe figures of characters that I'd like to see in the Black Series. So let's kick things off as we always do with a couple of honourable mentions. Firstly, I'd like to see Mon Mothma in the line. Now we're getting the Andor Mothma. I will take as many versions of Mon Mothma as I can get my hands on. She was technically in a deleted scene, but I feel like we've seen the Black Series represent stuff that didn't quite make it onto screen before, so I think we can get away with a Revenge of the Sith Mon Mothma. Secondly, I wouldn't mind seeing an Owen and Beru twin pack, maybe with a baby Luke. I think that'd be pretty cool. And just for the giggles, let's have a Latherbank Crispy Vader. I think that'd be great. And just bending the rules ever so slightly, I'd like to see Grievous's wheelbike make its way into the line somehow. I just think it's one of my favourite vehicles. I think it'd be really cool. Honourable mentions out of the way, let's get into the list. Coming in at the number 5, I originally had the IG-100 Magna Guard on the list, but obviously it was recently pipelined as part of the Clone Wars anniversary wave. So I changed my selection to Mas Amida. Now this is the Grand Vizier of the Galactic Republic. He basically stands next to Palpatine while he turns the Republic from a democracy into a dictatorship. And there's so much going on with this guy, like you feel like he must know that Palpatine is a Sith Lord. When did that happen? I'd love to see that conversation. But along the same sort of lines as Bib Fortuna or Newt Gunray, as I suggested back in Phantom Menace, this is just one of those great political figures that you can just stand there and he would look cool. The Chagrian species looks amazing, and I feel like with how good the Black Series is at alien head sculpts, they would do a great job with this. With his height, he'd probably have to be a deluxe figure now I think about it, but I think it would look amazing. In fact, if we could get like a 3-piece set of Mas Amida, Sly Moore, and Palpatine in his New World Order robes, I feel like that'd be a great set. I'm a little light on ideas for accessories for Mas Amida, probably just his staff, to be honest. You don't really see him without it, so that's really all I can come up with. But I feel like Mas Amida would be a great addition to the Black Series.
Order! Order!
At number 4, we have Senator Padme Amidala. I said it before, I will say it again, we need more Padme in the line, and I feel like Revenge of the Sith has some of her best looks in the whole trilogy. You've got Mustafar Padme, you've got the maternity dress Padme, but I think the one that I'm most interested in is the Liberty Dies Padme, the outfit she was wearing during the scene that I just mentioned, with that incredible crescent headband that resembles the Rebellion logo. As I've said before, Padme is just a great character, and the fact that we only have one in the line, even if it is one of my favourite Padmes, we still need more, to be honest. This one would be a no-brainer for a really nice, detailed soft goods dress, really nail the photo-real face. I feel like it would be an absolutely gorgeous figure to have on the shelf. Throw in that classic ELG 3A blaster pistol and you've got yourself a Padme, so Senator Padme Amidala gets the number 4 spot on my list.
So this is how Liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Coming in at number 3, we have the Droideka, the Destroyer Droid. Now this is such a popular request in the community, and in this instance, yeah, I'm inclined to agree. It would be a brilliant addition to the line. The battle droids are just sort of one note at the moment. They come in different colours, but they don't really come in different variations. I feel like a couple of droidekas would really break that up if you're building a separatist army. I feel like to get the full potential out of this, we'd probably have to go for a deluxe set. I don't know if the engineering is quite there where we could have a droideka that folds up into a ball mode, but I like to think it would be possible. But I wouldn't want to have a collapsing ball mode at the expense of the articulation or the look of the figure when it's in attack mode. So I think what I would prefer is maybe throw in some battle effects. It seems like battle effects, they come up every now and then in these big sets that are ridiculously expensive, that come with like one stormtrooper and like 8 different ways that you can have him being shot, but I feel like the Droideka would be a great way to bring some more blast effects into the line. Back when I was a kid, I had a Droideka that came with a kind of deflector shield dome that you can see in the plastic that the shield is rippling because it's being hit, because obviously the shields are invisible most of the time. But this added a really dynamic look to the figure, and I feel like we could pull off something similar in the Black Series. They've been toying with energy effects for a long time, and I feel like they're getting closer and closer to really nailing it. So just give me a deflector shield dome for the Droideka and I will be happy. So yeah, a deluxe Droideka, that is a suitable number 3 spot on my list.
Destroyers.
Coming in at number 2, we have Senator Bail Organa. Now this is one of those background political characters that has been gradually gaining more and more popularity the more appearances he makes in the media, and I really love his character anyway, so it would be a great addition to the line. I think I actually had a Bail Organa figure when I was a kid. It was one of those surprise ones that I was just like, I actually really like this figure. But remembering how that figure was kind of put together gives me the idea that you could actually get quite a lot of reuse for Bail Organa from the existing Dryden Voss figure. He's got that robe that sort of hangs halfway off. You could find a way to make that look like Bail Organa's robe. So yeah, slap a Jimmy Smits head on that and you've more or less made your way halfway to Bail Organa. It feels like there would be very minimal new parts required to make this figure work. Throw in a Q-Jet LNZ-1 blaster pistol and maybe a little baby Leia to go with that baby Luke I talked about earlier, and I think you'd have an absolutely solid release. Senator Bail Organa comes in at number 2.
My wife and I will take the girl. We've always talked of adopting a baby girl. She will be loved with us.
But the number 1 character from Revenge of the Sith that I would like to see come to the Black Series is Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. Now I know what you're saying, we have Palpatine in the line already. No, we don't have this Palpatine. This is my favourite Palpatine appearance. The Sith Lord revealed outfit, where he's wearing that sharp red outfit that looks so cool. This is the version of Chancellor Palpatine that I see in my head when I think of Chancellor Palpatine. This is where my mind goes. I see that red outfit and it's just peak Palpatine. This is a turning point in the Skywalker saga when he reveals himself as the Sith Lord. And then obviously we move from that into the climactic duel with the Jedi Council members. And that really leads me into the inspiration behind the choice, which is I had a Palpatine figure when I was a kid that was called the Sith Lightsaber Strikes Palpatine. It was his red outfit, it came with his lightsaber, and it also came with lightning hands and an alternate head to switch over to his hideously scarred post Force Lightning to the Face appearance. I feel like this figure could be perfectly represented in the Black Series. More to the point, I feel like it wouldn't require a ton of new parts, or more accurately, I feel like it would give new purpose to parts that already exist. Everybody remembers the Amazon exclusive Emperor Palpatine with the throne, which came with all of those wonderful accessories, lightning hands, alternate heads. We didn't get them in the archive re-release of Palpatine. Maybe we could get him in a Revenge of the Sith Deluxe Palpatine. Throw in that incredibly unique lightsaber, and maybe even a soft goods black robe that you can use to pull over the figure to complete his transformation, and you'd have an absolutely solid deluxe release. For all these reasons and more that I could sit here rambling about for hours, Supreme Chancellor Palpatine is the number 1 figure from Revenge of the Sith that I would like to see added to the Black Series.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from a Jedi.
No. No, you must die!
So So those were my wishlist picks for Revenge of the Sith. What are some Revenge of the Sith characters that you would like to see come to the Black Series? Let me know down below, I'm always interested to find out. And that quite comfortably wraps up the prequel trilogy. We will of course go back and talk about Clone Wars eventually. I feel like we're going to need a few more entries on the list for Clone Wars though, there's a lot of stuff to add in there. If you haven't already, do please check out my wishlist picks for Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace. And stay tuned for the remaining movies and TV shows in the franchise which are still yet to come. We are doing them all. They're all getting a list. Until next time, I've been Grand Moff Tony. That was my top 5 Black Series wishlist for Revenge of the Sith. You may subscribe when ready. Let's have a lava bear. What?
Disgusting.